Your mind is the battlefield of faith. It's where hope and fear wrestle, where truth and lies collide, and where every victory or defeat in life begins. Before anything happens in your circumstances, something first happens in your thoughts. If your mind is filled with fear, you will walk in hesitation. But if your mind is filled with faith, you will move forward with courage. The way you think shapes the way you live. Many people try to change their lives by changing their surroundings, their jobs, or their relationships, but they forget the first place change must happen inside the mind. You can't live a positive life with a negative mind. You can't experience peace if your thoughts are constantly filled with worry and complaint. The truth is, the direction of your thoughts determines the direction of your life. What you think, you eventually believe. What you believe, you eventually speak. And what you speak, you eventually live. Every day, your mind receives thousands of thoughts. Some bring light, others bring darkness. You may not be able to stop the thoughts that come, but you can choose which ones to keep. You can't stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building a nest there. In the same way, you can't stop negative thoughts from entering your mind, but you can refuse to let them take root. The moment a thought of fear, doubt, or failure enters your heart, confront it. Replace it with the truth of who you are and what you're created for. You might say, but these thoughts are too strong. I can't control them. Yes, you can. You may not be able to control what happens around you, but you can control what happens within you. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant grows. If you plant seeds of worry, don't be surprised when anxiety grows. But if you plant seeds of faith, hope, and gratitude, you'll see peace and strength blossom within you. When you wake up each morning, you have a choice. You can let your thoughts be ruled by fear, or you can let them be ruled by faith. The enemy of your peace will always whisper lies. You're not enough. Things will never change. You'll always be stuck. But you don't have to listen. Every lie that enters your mind is an opportunity to speak truth. Say, I am not defined by my fears. I am not limited by my past. I am guided by purpose. Your mind listens to what your mouth says. When you speak life, your thoughts begin to align with that truth. That's why it's so important to speak positively even when life feels difficult. Speak faith over your situation. Speak peace over your soul. When you choose words of faith, you begin to reshape the atmosphere of your thoughts. Many of the struggles people face are not external, they're internal. Depression, discouragement, anxiety, these are battles that begin in the unseen realm of the mind. But there is hope. The same place where negativity grows can also become the place where peace is planted. You can renew your mind. You can train your thoughts to align with truth. It doesn't happen overnight, but every time you choose faith over fear, you're winning the battle little by little. Think of your thoughts like traffic on a busy highway. You are the traffic controller. You decide which thoughts go through and which ones must turn away. When a thought of doubt tries to enter, direct it away. When a thought of gratitude appears, let it stay. Over time, your mental traffic becomes clearer, smoother, and peaceful. The secret to overcoming negative thoughts is not to fight them endlessly, but to replace them. When darkness comes, you don't have to shout at it, you just turn on the light. Light always defeats darkness, and truth always defeats lies. When you fill your mind with light, with good words, uplifting thoughts, and faith-filled beliefs, the shadows of negativity have no room to remain. Every great person you admire has learned this truth. Victory begins within. They learned to guard their minds as carefully as a soldier guards his post. They refused to let discouragement or doubt live rent free in their hearts. You must do the same. Protect your peace. Guard your thoughts. Don't let negativity steal your energy. When you notice yourself drifting toward fear or resentment, stop and shift your focus. Ask yourself, what good can I see in this moment? Gratitude is a powerful weapon in the battle of the mind. It changes your focus from what's missing to what's present. It reminds you that even in pain there's purpose, even in weakness there's grace. Sometimes you may wake up feeling heavy, surrounded by thoughts that say, you can't make it. When that happens, don't surrender to the noise. Lift your mind higher. Speak truth until your emotions catch up. Say, I may feel weak, but strength is coming. I may not see the way, but there is a way. Faith doesn't ignore reality. It just looks beyond it. It sees what could be, not just what is. Your thoughts have the power to create or destroy your peace. They can either trap you in fear or lift you into freedom. When your mind is filled with doubt, your vision becomes blurred. But when it's filled with faith, clarity returns. You start to see that your challenges are not walls blocking your path. They are bridges leading you higher. It's not easy to win the battle of the mind, but it's possible. You must be intentional. Feed your mind with things that strengthen your spirit, truth, wisdom, and love. Stay away from what fuels your fear, toxic conversations, hopeless messages, or comparisons that make you feel small. What you allow into your mind will shape what flows out of your life. There will be moments when you feel tired of fighting, when the negative voices seem louder than your faith. But remember, even in silence, your faith is working. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You just have to stay grounded in truth. Even a small flame shines brightly in the darkest night. When negative emotions come, don't bury them. Bring them to light. Acknowledge them, but don't let them rule you. You might feel anger, sadness, or disappointment, but those feelings don't define you. They are visitors, not permanent residents. Your true identity is found in peace, purpose, and love. When your mind is filled with light, your words become light. And when your words are filled with light, your world begins to change. People will notice your peace, your calm, your confidence. Not because life is perfect, but because you've learned the secret. Peace is not found in the absence of storms. It's found in the presence of faith. So guard your thoughts like a treasure. Protect your peace like gold. Every time a negative thought tries to take control, remember that you have authority over what stays in your mind. You are not a prisoner of your past or a victim of your feelings. You are the gatekeeper of your thoughts. And when you choose to fill your mind with faith, courage, and truth, nothing can stop you from walking in peace. In every season of life, whether in joy or pain, success or struggle, keep this truth close. Your mind is the battlefield of faith. And though the fight may be fierce, victory is certain for those who refuse to surrender. Keep your heart steady, keep your eyes lifted, and keep your thoughts anchored in truth. Because when faith wins in your mind, peace reigns in your life. When you lie down tonight, quiet your thoughts and whisper, I release the worries of today. I choose peace for tomorrow. And when you rise in the morning, remind yourself, my mind will serve faith, not fear. My heart will follow truth, not lies. Do this daily, and you'll see your world transform. Not because the world changed, but because you changed from within. The battlefield of your mind will no longer be a place of defeat, but a place of daily victory. And that victory, my friend, will carry you through every storm, every challenge, and every new day of your life. Every day, we are surrounded by voices that try to shape the way we think and feel. Some speak loudly through the media, some whisper quietly in our minds. And while we may not notice it, those voices have a powerful influence on how we live. What we allow to enter our minds eventually settles in our hearts, and what settles in our hearts begins to shape our emotions, our choices, and even our destiny. You see, feelings are not random, they are the result of focus. The mind is like a lens. It magnifies whatever it looks at. If you focus on what's wrong, your feelings will follow that path of despair. If you focus on what's missing, your heart will always feel empty. But if you choose to focus on what's good, what's true, what's possible, you will begin to feel strength rising within you. That's why it's said, focus determines feelings. So many people struggle not because life is always cruel, but because they keep staring at the wrong things. They focus on the storm instead of the shelter, on the hurt instead of the healing, on the failure instead of the lesson. When your attention is constantly drawn to pain, fear, or loss, it becomes impossible to feel peace. But the moment you shift your focus even a little, your heart begins to change. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning and immediately think about what went wrong yesterday, or what could go wrong today, your body reacts. Anxiety builds, your mood darkens, and your energy fades before the day even begins. But if you open your eyes and choose to thank God for another day of life, for the breath in your lungs, for the strength to start again, something shifts inside you. The circumstances may be the same, but your focus changes your perspective, and your perspective changes your peace. You can't control every thought that enters your mind, but you can control what stays. Just as you wouldn't allow every stranger to walk freely into your home, don't allow every negative thought to take residence in your heart. Close the door to lies that say you're not enough, that your best days are behind you, that your life doesn't matter. Instead, invite truth to take its place. Say to yourself, I am more than my mistakes. I am loved beyond measure. I am walking toward purpose. When you make that mental shift, your feelings begin to follow. It's not magic. It's a spiritual principle. The heart responds to what the mind believes. If your mind believes in defeat, your emotions will sink. But if your mind believes in hope, your emotions will rise. The world teaches us to react to feelings. It says, if you feel down, stay down. If you feel angry, express it. If you feel hopeless, accept it. But truth teaches us to respond with faith, not emotion. You can feel fear, but still walk forward in courage. You can feel sadness, but still choose gratitude. You can feel weakness, but still act with strength. Feelings are real, but they are not the master. You are. The secret to emotional freedom is not found in controlling everything around you. It's found in controlling what you focus on within you. There are people who live in joy despite hardship, and there are people who live in misery despite abundance. The difference is not in what they have, but in what they see. If you focus on problems, you will be overwhelmed. But if you focus on possibilities, you will be inspired. If you focus on your failures, you'll feel shame. But if you focus on lessons learned, you'll feel growth. The mind can be trained to find light even in the darkest places. It's not about ignoring pain. It's about refusing to let pain have the final word. Imagine you're walking through a forest. If you keep your eyes on the thorns, you'll miss the beauty of the flowers. If you stare only at the shadows, you'll never notice the sunlight breaking through the trees. Life is the same. Every day has both darkness and light. What you see depends on where you look. Many people live under the weight of negative emotions because they feed on negative thoughts. They dwell on betrayal, on what someone said, on what they lost, on what they fear might happen. But when you keep replaying pain, you give it permission to stay. You don't heal by repeating the hurt. You heal by refocusing your heart. Start feeding your spirit with truth and encouragement. Listen to words that lift you up. Read what strengthens your soul. Speak kindly to yourself. The words you repeat become the soundtrack of your life. If your inner voice constantly says, "I can't," "I'm not enough," "nothing will change," then your feelings will mirror that hopelessness. But when you begin to say, "I can rise again," "There's still purpose in my pain," "This season will not last forever," your feelings will start to align with those truths. Your focus doesn't just shape your feelings, it also shapes your future. You move toward what you look at. A pilot knows that the plane will drift in the direction of his gaze. A driver knows that if he stares at the ditch, the car will eventually follow. In the same way, if you constantly focus on what you fear, you'll be drawn toward it. But if you focus on where you want to go, on faith, peace, and progress, you'll begin to move in that direction. When you fill your heart with gratitude, negativity loses power. Gratitude is like light. It drives out darkness. It doesn't mean ignoring the problems, but seeing blessings even in the middle of them. You can say, "Yes, things are hard, but I'm thankful I'm still standing. Yes, I'm waiting for change, but I'm grateful I have hope. Yes, I've been hurt, but I'm thankful I'm healing." Every thankful thought is a step away from despair and a step toward peace. Even in times of suffering, your focus can transform your experience. Many people discover strength they never knew they had because they chose to look up instead of looking down. When you look up, when you focus on God's faithfulness rather than life's failures, you begin to see meaning in what once felt meaningless. You realize that trials don't define you, they refine you. There's a beautiful peace that comes when you stop fighting every negative emotion and start feeding the right focus. You'll notice that your reactions change. Where you once felt anger, you now feel patience. Where you once felt fear, you now feel trust. It's not that problems disappear, it's that peace grows stronger than the problem, but you must practice it daily. The mind doesn't change in one moment, it changes through repeated choices. When a negative thought comes, replace it immediately. Say, "No, I will not dwell on that. I will think of something pure, something hopeful." Over time, those small decisions rewire your perspective. Soon, what used to make you anxious will no longer shake you. What used to drain you will no longer control you. Your emotions will start to reflect the new reality you've built in your mind. Joy will become natural, peace will become normal, and faith will become your first response instead of your last resort. So today, ask yourself, what am I focusing on? Am I feeding fear or feeding faith? Am I seeing problems or possibilities? Am I rehearsing pain or remembering promises? The answer will reveal why you feel the way you do. If your focus has been heavy with worry, it's not too late to shift it. Every new day is a new beginning. The moment you decide to focus on truth, your heart begins to heal. Focus on what you can control. Your attitude, your gratitude, your response. Leave the rest in God's hands. He never asked you to carry the world on your shoulders. He asked you to trust Him with it. And when you do, peace will take the place of panic. Focus determines feelings. The more you dwell on love, the more love you feel. The more you dwell on hope, the more hope you carry. The more you dwell on peace, the more peace surrounds you. Life changes not when everything around you gets better, but when your focus within you grows clearer. So, lift your eyes from the shadows, fix your heart on what is good, and remember, your feelings are the echo of your focus. When your focus is filled with truth, your feelings will be filled with peace, and that peace, my friend, will carry you through every storm. Every human being walks through moments when the mind becomes a battlefield. The thoughts that rise within us have the power to shape the world we see. Many live each day surrounded by unseen enemies, fear, guilt, anger, and doubt. They whisper lies into the heart, telling us that we are not enough, that our efforts are wasted, that no one truly cares. And slowly, without realizing it, these thoughts take root, and begin to define our outlook, our emotions, and even our faith. But my friend, you were never meant to be a prisoner of lies. You were created to live in truth, and truth always sets the soul free. Negative thinking is not just an emotional habit. It is a spiritual battle. It begins subtly. A small worry becomes a fear. A disappointment becomes discouragement. And before long, the heart feels heavy, and the mind feels clouded. You begin to look at life through a lens of failure and fear. But the truth is, the problem is not what you see, it's what you believe. When your belief is grounded in truth, even the darkest night cannot destroy your peace. You see, every negative thought carries a message. It says you are alone. It says you are forgotten. It says you are not strong enough to rise. But every one of these messages is a lie. You are not alone. You were designed with divine purpose. You are not forgotten. You are seen, known, and valued. You are not powerless. Within you is the strength to overcome, the courage to rebuild, and the grace to begin again. Replacing lies with truth begins by becoming aware of what your mind tells you. You cannot defeat what you do not recognize. So the first step is awareness. The next time a thought enters your heart that brings fear, shame, or hopelessness, stop and ask, is this true? Most often, you will find it is not. It's a shadow, not a reality. It's an echo from your past, not the voice of your purpose. When you identify a lie, you must speak the opposite truth. This is where transformation begins. If the thought says, I can't do this, answer back, I can do all things through the strength given to me. If the thought says, I'll never be happy again, declare, my joy does not depend on circumstances. It is born of faith. If the thought says, my past defines me, remind yourself, my past was preparation, not my prison. The voice of truth is gentle, but it is powerful. Lies shout, but truth whispers peace. Lies drain your energy, but truth restores your hope. Lies confuse the mind, but truth brings clarity. And when you start replacing those lies with truth, something remarkable begins to happen. You begin to see yourself not as your mistakes, but as your potential. Many people try to escape negative thoughts by distraction, music, entertainment, work, or noise. But silence is not your enemy. In stillness, you can hear what's really going on inside. You can face the lies and replace them one by one. And in doing so, you begin to renew your mind. Renewal is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Each morning, you decide whether you'll live by truth or by fear. Some of you carry the lie of unworthiness. You've made mistakes, and you think those mistakes define who you are. But truth says your worth was never measured by your perfection. It was sealed by grace. You may have failed, but failure is not your identity. You may have fallen, but you are not finished. Every time you rise again, you prove that truth is stronger than defeat. Others live under the lie of comparison. You look at others and feel you're behind, but life is not a race. It's a journey designed uniquely for you. Truth says you are not late, you are being prepared. Your season is coming, and no one can take what was meant for you. Still, others battle the lie of fear, fear of the future, fear of loss, fear of rejection. But fear is only a lie dressed as caution. Truth says you do not walk alone. You are guided by wisdom, guarded by love, and strengthened by faith. Even in uncertainty, truth reminds you that peace does not come from knowing what will happen. Peace comes from knowing you are not abandoned no matter what happens. Replacing lies with truth doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means seeing reality through the lens of hope. It means choosing to believe in possibility when everything around you says it's over. It means trusting that even when you don't understand the plan, there is still a purpose working in silence. When you start speaking truth, your atmosphere changes. Words have power. The things you say about yourself either build you or break you. When you say, "I am broken," your heart starts to believe it, but when you say, "I am healing," your heart begins to recover. When you say, "I can't do this anymore," your strength fades, but when you say, "I will keep going," new courage rises within you. What you speak repeatedly becomes the reality you live, so fill your words with light. Speak life into your day. Speak kindness over yourself. Speak faith over your future. When you do, the lies that once seemed so loud will begin to lose their power. Sometimes you will have to replace the same lie over and over again. That's okay. Healing takes repetition. Growth requires patience. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. It takes consistent nurturing. The same is true for your thoughts. Every day, water the seeds of truth. Feed them with faith. Protect them from the weeds of doubt. In time, a new mindset will grow, one rooted in peace and resilience. There will be days when negative thoughts feel overwhelming. On those days, don't fight alone. Surround yourself with voices of truth, uplifting words, encouraging people, and messages that strengthen your spirit. You are not weak for needing support. You are wise for seeking it. Just as a flame burns brighter when surrounded by other flames, your faith grows stronger when joined with others who speak truth. You must also guard what enters your mind. The world is full of noise, news, opinions, criticism, comparison. Be selective with what you allow to shape your thoughts. What you listen to daily becomes what you believe eventually. If you want peace, fill your ears with peace. If you want courage, fill your mind with stories of victory. You cannot live a positive life while feeding on negative voices. When you begin replacing lies with truth, your feelings will start to change. You'll notice moments of calm where there used to be chaos, moments of gratitude where there used to be complaint, moments of joy where there used to be fear. That's the transformation truth brings. It doesn't always change your circumstances immediately, but it changes you. How you see, how you respond, how you live. And when you change from within, the world around you begins to respond differently. You walk taller, speak softer, love deeper. People sense the peace in you because truth always leaves a fragrance of calm wherever it dwells. If you have been living under the weight of negative thoughts, know this: you are not too far gone. You are not too broken to begin again. Your mind may be tired, but it can be renewed. Truth is always stronger than the lie, and light always wins over darkness. The key is to choose it daily, to fill your heart with what is right, noble, and good. Even when life feels uncertain, choose truth. When fear whispers that you cannot, truth declares that you can. When sorrow tells you it's over, truth says the story is not finished. When regret tries to define you, truth reminds you that grace writes new beginnings. So today, start small. Write down the lies that have been holding you back. Then beside each one, write the truth that sets you free. Read them aloud every morning until your heart starts to believe again. Let your mind hear the words of life more than the echoes of fear. Every time you choose truth, you take back territory that once belonged to negativity. Every time you speak life, you break the cycle of defeat. And every time you look forward with faith, you walk one step closer to peace. The journey from lies to truth is not easy, but it is beautiful. It's the path where the soul learns to rest, where the heart learns to hope, and where the mind learns to see through the eyes of faith. So walk in truth today. Guard your mind, strengthen your thoughts, and fill your heart with gratitude. Replace every lie with a greater truth, and you will discover that peace was never far away. It was waiting for you to believe. When your thoughts align with truth, your feelings align with peace. And when peace reigns in your heart, no storm can shake you. The light within you will be brighter than any darkness around you. That, my friend, is the power of living in truth, the freedom to be at peace, no matter what surrounds you.